Hey everybody, Graham here from therecordingrevolution.com. Hope you're having a fabulous day. Have a product review for you today. It is the Virtual Tape Machines plugin from Slate Digital, VTM. And this is his latest plugin. It's emulating two specific types of tape and tape machines, really, in particular. And there's a couple different ways you can use this in your mixes, but I want to show you how I've been using it lately. I got a copy of it a couple months ago, and I decided I obviously wanted to mix a few projects with it before I could have any conclusion to jump to. Because again, I don't use a ton of other plugins. I use mostly stock plugins in Pro Tools. I use some plugins from Waves, a couple plugins from Isotope. But Slate makes really helpful plugins that seem to do things that the rest of my plugins can't do. The Virtual Console collection is amazing, and this one is just as cool, but in a different way. This is meant to be used in two fashions, one across all your tracks, kind of like the Virtual Console is, and the other is use it on your mix bus. Today I want to show you what it can do just on your mix bus, but I want to show you the features of it real quick. It's beautiful looking, but it's really simple. You have an input-output knob, and allows you to drive more of the tape effect or less of the tape effect, and then obviously affect how hot the overall signal is. But by default, these are linked, which is great. So at default, they're up the middle, and as I drive the tape more, it turns down the output to compensate. So you kind of have that constant gain monitoring across the plugins. You're not fooling yourself into just turning up the mix or turning up a track. You're actually hearing the more mix of the plugin you hear, the less output, so that it's flat, so the output volume stays the same. And I love that, so I don't have to fool myself. So you can dial in how much of the effect, and then over here you just have four little guys. You can just choose, is it the 2-inch 16-track tape? So this is like your multi-track tape. This would be if you're using the plugin on a specific channel, your kick drum, your lead vocal, your whatever. Or the 1/2-inch 2-track tape. This is mastering tape. So this is what you'd put on your master fader, your mix bus. This is the last thing your whole mix would dump to if it were recorded to tape. So do different machines that they've emulated here for two different roles. Of course, you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of plugins. You can make these backwards. You've got two different tape types, and they just sound different. So they handle audio differently. Some saturate more than others. And it's cool that you can basically flip between the two and see which sounds better on your material. You have tape speed. You can choose between 30 IPS or 15 IPS, so inches per second, how fast the tape is actually spinning. And what's cool is that this affects the sound also. The slower speed, you actually can get like a fatter, more low mids and lows to your mix as opposed to on 30 IPS. But it really, again, depends on the material, so it doesn't matter what setting you think it should be at. You just flip back and forth, and I like it. You only have two options, this tape type or this tape type, this speed or this speed, and you find the one that suits you best. It's the concept of limitations equaling more creativity at its finest. And then your bias, it's set to normal by default, and it's set to match your tape type and tape speed. So I just leave it at normal. But of course, you can choose to bias the high frequencies or the low frequencies more. So you could have it saturate with the highs earlier or the lows earlier. But if you're simple like me and stretched for time, just flip it to the right machine, choose a tape type, choose a tape speed, dial it in a little bit, call it a day. Of course, you can flip on the settings with this little red button, and you can go crazy with the VU, how fast the needles jump. You can affect the overall group because you can group these tracks across your mix. There's noise reduction because this thing will add hiss. It will add sound. There is bass alignment, wow and flutter. These are things if you really know tape and you really want a little more control of what the tape is doing and how it reacts, like if you could really tweak the machine, they give you some of those features hidden under the settings button. And I like that because it's on the surface for people like me that just want the magic sound of tape in a DAW. Slap it on, make a couple of choices, move on. For people that enjoy tweaking and they know what tape should do and they want to customize this plugin to what they want it to do in their heads, just hit that red button and you can waste your afternoon doing that. I didn't mean to say waste, but it's all in the eye of the beholder. So anyway, what matters is what does it sound like? So here's a mix I wanted to show you guys where all I have I have VTM on my mix bus. So I've got everything dumping through my mix bus, and it's going through a couple plugins and ending with the tape on the 1/2 inch, so the mastering tape. And I've chosen the 456 tape at 15 IPS, and I just dialed in about 6 dB of the effect. So what I'm going to do is press play. You'll hear the mix, and then I'm going to flip it off, turn off the tape saturation, and you can hear what it does to my mix, what the mix is lacking, and we'll go back and forth a little bit.
I just don't take your love, make your love a better place to be because I'm calling out your name, and it's all or nothing. Or maybe we should give this one more try. Sleep on this tomorrow. Just don't take your love, make your love a better place to be because I'm calling out your name, and it's all or nothing. Or maybe we should give this one more try. Sleep on this tomorrow.
All right, so the magic disappears, right? The mix sounds great, then you bypass the plugin and you go, oh. It seems that it gets quieter, but it's not just volume. Again, it's compensating for the volume. It's the saturation, it's the harmonics, it's a lot of the balance is changed because of what tape is doing, so maybe certain frequencies pop out more than others. It sounds more exciting when it's on. I feel like the fatness in the bass comes to life when it's on. And again, the way I've used this is I slap this on from the beginning and I've mixed through it. So I didn't notice what it was doing while I was mixing, but then I take it away and I go, man, where did the life go? Where did the musicality go? The mix sounds fine and clinically okay without it, but you bring it back on and it comes to life. So here it is without, and I'll flip it on.
I just don't take your love, make your love a better place to be because I'm calling out your name, and it's all or nothing. Or maybe we should give this one more try. Sleep on this tomorrow. Just don't take.
Do you hear how the snare pops out? And it sounds fatter. It's amazing. So it's doing different things to different instruments in the mix, all by just having it go to this virtual tape. So it's making my drums fatter, making the bass fatter, making the vocals, even the cymbals crisp and pop out. The energy just goes up a notch. So again, I'm not running this across all my channels like I do with the virtual console. This is just one plugin here on the master fader. Okay. Now the only other way I've used it in this mix is I do have it on a group track for my drums. So my drums are running through a stereo bus here, and I've got the same plugin, not really driven much at all, on the 2-inch tape, so the multi-track tape, with a different tape type and the other tape speed. So take a listen to the mix with the VTM on the drum bus, and then when I mute it on the drum bus, okay? So it's still on my master fader, but this is just on the drums.
I just don't take your love, make your love a better place to be because I'm calling out your name, and it's all or nothing. Or maybe we should give this one more try. Sleep on this tomorrow. Just don't take your love, make your love a better place to be because I'm calling out your name, and it's
It gives the drums more punch. It's super cool. So again, this is a great little plug-in to put on a drum bus if you don't want to put it on every track or you haven't already done that. So what is it doing? If you're a young guy, young gal, you're new to mixing, I would even lump myself in this category. In the last 15 years, if you've been doing this, you don't probably have much experience with analog tape. You probably were experimenting with computer recording from the get-go, and that's just the nature of the industry. Everything's different, so our ears aren't accustomed to tape. So if you're young and you're new to this, you don't really know what you're missing, and that's okay. I don't think you're missing anything. I think what matters is what you hear in your head and you get a great mix. You don't need analog circuitry. It's not like that's right and digital is wrong. But if you have some experience with tape, or if you've realized that most of the records you've ever liked have been recorded to tape, or at least recorded and mixed to tape at some point, that it's contributing something to the sound, and it's really cool now that we can pick up a plugin to experiment with in our DAWs to bring that extra something, that musicality that might just be the subtle sweetness that takes your well-mixed, well-recorded songs and gives it a little bit of extra something that, the je ne sais quoi, I don't know, but it's there when you hear it, and it's not there when it's gone. So go check it out, Slate Digital or anywhere you pick up plugins. It's kind of pricey for one plugin that seemingly doesn't do anything special. But if you think about it as if you already are getting great mixes and you're pretty pleased with where they're going and you want to experiment with that analog sound, demo it, see what it can do on a mix, and if you like it, it might be worth picking up. I'm really glad I have it. It's one of those things I probably won't take out of my bag of tricks moving forward. That kind of says something about the plugin. So that's it. Virtual tape machines from Slate Digital. Thanks for checking out the review, guys. I hope to see you on another video soon. Take care.